Speaking of ass, this is a song about bottoming. Yeah.
You heard Eden peek up.
Yeah. You heard the chair squeak. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mikey.
And it's your girl Eden Barbarella.
And this is another episode of
Dirty Talk. Okay, give me digital get down in sync. Or
Scatting?
Like Camila Cabello.
Do up, do bop, bop,
Yeah.
do up, bop.
Shout out to her for going straight to Amazon. No, let me not be mean.
No, I'm so like
The Cinderella thing. I'd be nice to her.
Really trying not to be nasty and mean about the pop girls, but there's something that's extremely funny to me about the fact that she booked an entire arena tour and like her album flopped and didn't sell tickets and she had to cancel it.
Just like the stock market, the music industry is a betting game, and a lot of people put in a lot of bets on a couple of people. And now we're starting to see the actual fruition of what reality is. And my hopes is that those girls all have their individual moments, but then come back together and blossom into a really good girl group because we need them.
There's a reason why people are put into groups and they don't realize it.
Right. And those girls had something going. I mean, I get it. I used to be doing that stuff too. But at the same time, I think with the maturity and the stuff that they've gone through the industry individually, I really do think that they could come back. And that would be so refreshing to see. I don't think we've really gotten to see like a good girl group
break up
and come back good. Like DK kind of did that, but then they only came back with 4 and then 3 and then got into a fight and then they broke up again, and that was a disaster. Pussycat Dolls, like we kind of already said, but that's just Nicole, to be honest. So it's like, come on girls, y'all got it. We believe in you, Fifth Harmony. And yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of pop today, just so y'all know. So that's why we're getting right into the biz naives when it comes
I was watching this video about why Disney hasn't been able to churn out like a superstar in a minute. I think the last big superstars they had were like Zendaya and Selena Gomez. Circling back to what you said about how it's a betting game and how people put all their eggs in one basket, they said that it's because Disney no longer has a chokehold on the manufacturing streamline. Things go viral on their own in organic ways on like TikTok and like Twitter, and you can't replicate that.
Right.
And so because of that, you don't have these Disney stars popping out the way they used to pop out. You got like Lil Nas X, Bad Barbie, Bad Baby,
Bad Bunny.
No.
Oh, Bad Baby.
Yeah, Bad Baby.
Oh, what you say? Catch Me Outside.
I don't know. I don't know. But there's other examples. My brain's drawing a blank. But you know what I mean? Like it's just stars aren't made the way that they're used to, and it's so funny to see like the entertainment industry kind of like not react in a timely manner.
Right. They're always late to the party, always trying to replicate the vibe. And then another thing is I think too, as a society right now, we tend to gravitate towards more of the flaws or like the anti-polished. And I feel like Disney, that's their whole like ammo, is to present like the most clean and pristine thing. Yeah. But like Lil Nas X story is nothing like that. But I think that's why we can relate to it, because our upbringing was not like Disney. It was reality similar to his. So they need to work things out. I know homegirl Olivia Rodrigo, she is not even signed to
Disney.
Yeah, she said, I am not doing that. And I think that's so smart, because they tried some of my favorites, like got shelved, or like their projects. Bridget Mendler is another person that her stuff did not take off, and she was so good. It's like, if you would have given these people the right vibe, they would have had more than just a couple of the hits that y'all used to play as a commercial on the Disney Channel.
I miss the music video commercials on Disney Channel.
Well, talk about programming. That's how we knew all them things. At 7:55, we already knew that
my
Disney Channel Circle of Stars
were when they would do the music videos for like the Disney Channel original movie. I'll be like, I gotta, like, even though I've seen the video like 500 times, I'm like, I gotta stop what I'm doing
and watch it.
I'm gonna watch Annalise Vanderpool sing her little song about stuck in the suburbs.
Yes, I used to like her.
She was I had like such a big crush on her.
Really?
Oh my God. But I think like now looking back with like my adult eyes is like, I think it was me recognizing myself in that character.
Nice.
You know?
I like
so going back and like reframing my female crushes makes more sense now.
Right. It's like something with them resonated with you.
Yeah.
It's like it's a connecting point.
Yeah. As opposed
so
to like,
cute.
oh wow, she's got boobs and I like boobs.
Who knew that there was more to a human being besides like
boobs?
the one-dimensional things that they try to condition us to like, which we're going to be talking about in this episode because pop music has been totally sexual forever, I feel. Even dating back to like Elvis's time when he would just shake those hips and the girls are passing out in the front row. So
you even think about like Baby It's Cold Outside. They get freaky.
But isn't it funny how they be trying to frame this stuff into something so innocent and cutesy and stuff like that, and they be really talking about some nitty gritty stuff in these songs? Like, it's crazy. So we're gonna be talking about all that cool stuff and all that jazz. But before we do, y'all, Mikey is going to give us a cute freak of the week, some inspirational freaks of the week.
Yeah, this is plural.
Yeah.
It's not a freak of the week. It is a freaks of the week.
Absolutely.
So I listened to this podcast called Legends Only, and it's hosted by this guy named Bradley Stern and T. Kyle. T. Kyle is really popular on Twitter. He created reality TV GIFs on Tumblr years ago. He's gone viral several times. Bradley has his own music blog called Mew Muse, and I stumbled upon it one time in like 2010. I'm like, wow, this guy feels the same way about Britney as I do. And then they were friends at the time, but then they came together because they both live in New York, and now they have their podcast. They did one about Britney's career where each episode encompassed an entire year. And I think it's really refreshing to see two openly gay men embrace the things that they love and really try to make something of it. They've got two completely different personalities. Bradley's a little more straight and narrow, and T. Kyle's a little more of the wild card. He's a Gemini, and Bradley's a Capricorn. You can make assumptions on that, you know. And it's just really, it's an inspiration to see people embrace what they love, so like unapologetic, unapologetic. Like you see two people from like two opposite personality spectrums come together and be friends, and not only be friends but create something together. And it's inspirational to me.
Definitely.
And that's I'm here for, is queer friendships elevating one another to the next level.
Well, I'm putting out a Dirty Talk collaboration with these Freaks of the Week because I definitely second everything that Mikey just said. It's definitely inspirational to see two people live their truths, live so authentically, and literally have a career talking about pop culture, which is literally a dream. So congratulations, y'all, and continue on like brainstorming and figuring out new and creative, cool ways to keep us engaged, because as podcasters ourselves, we are also avid listeners to like other folks, and these people are dope.
Yeah, which is a nice little segue in today's topic, because gay men and pop music go together like Ramalama Lama, da dee 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 ding ding dong. I hope that doesn't get like.
It's true though. I feel like music, maybe because music was just like a saving force for anything queer at the time, because we didn't really have anything like protecting us. Maybe like living our truths through the music was like the only way. But I have been addicted to pop music since knee high, and I didn't realize these songs, these music videos, all that. Growing up on like Madonna and Janet Jackson and stuff like that, I was very privileged, number one, because these artists are just amazing and they're a big part of who I am and how I represent myself. But I have to wonder, like, is a part of my sexual identity a part of what I learned from them and their music and that stuff, and what life would have been like had I not had access to these magical women?
What would your sexuality be like if you were just influenced by Coldplay?
No, it would have been like the Christian bands, girl.
Lifehouse.
I would have been up in the barn, like, I don't know.
Barn?
That's what I imagine.
Are there barns in Florida?
Girl, yeah, we got farms and shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We have hills and shit. Like,
you have hills?
Yes. Florida is not all flat.
And swampy?
So South Florida, like where I'm from, is like very swampy, hot, flat, etc. Everglades. But if you go to the central or North Florida, like there's like tall hills, like elevation's like super high there. So yeah, we'll have to take a trip. Yeah. And blast a cool playlist or something on some of the artists that we're about to dive into that definitely defined our sexuality from, I would say, forever. Since forever.
As long as like you don't ever remember your first memory, you know?
Right. I just know that they were there. I know I liked them a lot and they were always involved. And then I remember doing concerts to the Spice Girls, literally like by myself. I would perform the concert 5 times because I had to be each member, and each member had a very different presence on stage. Absolutely. So like, especially for the songs like Naked, nobody ever likes that song, but that's one of my favorite songs from the first album. As an adult listening to it, it's very sensual, very so me. But at the time, it was like, I'm freaking 5 years old. Like,
you don't even know what it means. You're just having fun. You're just vibing.
Kikiing and doing my thing. And I kind of miss those days. You know, the innocence behind just enjoying the freedom of figuring out all of that.
I still very much find myself in those moments. Like last night when I was texting you, Bobby, and Rob, and I was like, oh my God, Mary J. Blige says, "So just dance for me." And this entire time, I was thinking, soldiers dance for me. And I'm like, it didn't resonate with me because I'm like, what's a dancery? What is in this hateration? Right. Like, I'm like, it's all just gibberish. Right. So like,
making up a whole new language. Yeah. So that we all love.
I was willing to suspend my disbelief. And then I was looking at the lyrics. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong, you know? So it's I still have those moments where I'm like very innocent to it. And like, it took me a minute to realize what is it, 36, 35 is about? What is the story on 34?
34, 35, girl.
I'm not a mathematician.
How are you not a 69 fan? We have to discuss that.
It is just an uncomfortable position.
What do you mean? How are you doing a 69 that makes it uncomfortable?
I've only ever done it like on the side.
But that's comfortable.
On my side? I can't hold up my neck.
Well,
I got a weak neck.
Personally, I've done it that way, and then I've done it where someone's laying on the back and then someone's on top of them. But that's also kind of feels...
Like, it's restricting. It's like, oh, I've literally got a body on top.
Well, yeah, that's what I was like. The visual. I mean, I don't know. When I'm intimate, I kind of like, you know, looking at my partner or whatnot.
I love an eye contact moment. Right. That's one of the things that I picked up for Britney is like in her music videos, she's all about like staring directly into the camera, making
and that
eye
pierces
contact.
The soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gives an extra dimension.
That's one of the things that like I'm like, oh, this is what people like. So it's like, I've picked that up and now it's become a part of who I am. And I'm like, if I'm going to be sexy, I'm going to make eye contact. Like,
y'all, he's staring at Mikey is staring deep. I'm getting nervous. It's getting hot. Oh my gosh.
But you know what I mean? Like, you're at such an impressionable age. You don't know what you're taking in, but you know it does something. And
right. The reactions that people exude when they see that happening lets you know, okay, well, that's a hot move or a hot vibe, or like even watching the music videos and stuff like that. I remember like when the girls all started, like when Christina did Dirty and they all started doing like the wet hair look. I remember Janet had that same wet hair look and All For You. Like it was like a mood. And then I would see all the girls in like the magazines and stuff like that all trying to mimic that. Like, I don't know. It's just like a whole ambiance.
I love a wet hair moment and like a hair flip moment.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, that's sexy.
Yes.
That is sensual. But like, that's not what it's going to be for everybody.
Right.
Because I see some of these, not girls, I'm not going to be misogynistic. Sometimes I see people with like the wet, crunchy hair look, and I'm like,
I kind of used to like that though when the girls used to do that, but then they used to put hairspray in there and it used to be like stiff.
Crunch.
My friend used to do that in middle school. I used to be like trying to. That was payback because everybody was always trying to be in your girl's hair because I wasn't able to do a wet hair moment when I was growing up. I would toss my hair side to side, nothing would happen.
It just stayed.
It was just the white. But nevertheless, so what were some of your favorite music videos growing up? What were some of the ones that, like, even if you were not necessarily interested in the woman per se, like, they still turned you on in a way or still activated something inside you that was just like...
I think for me, probably, like, the biggest moment of, like, identifying my, like, little queerness as a kid was the I'm a Slave for You video.
Absolutely.
And it's just like the first time I've ever seen, like, it was sexual, but it wasn't dirty. Like, I knew it wasn't that bad because my parents allowed me to watch it. It was on the TV. And if it were such a big deal, then, like, I wouldn't have been able to watch it. And it wouldn't have been so easily accessible. I think that's where I get a lot of, like, I lift a lot of, like, I love a low-rise moment. I love a crop top moment. I love showing a little bit of skin.
Thong on top of your jeans.
I a little peekaboo of a jock strap.
Yes.
There
we go.
You can't tell me that I'm not looking delicious.
I love it.
Eat it up, I say.
That's like a cool essence, but like you can carry that into 2021. And first of all, anytime any Britney record comes on, I feel like my sensuality just tunes up a bit.
It ignites something. I awaken and I'm like, oh, this is like a flip has been switched. And I'm like, oh, I'm a sex bot now, you know?
So that's a great thing to associate to it. But then on the flip side of it, why do you think that they marketed these videos to us in particular? Because I probably was like 11 or 12, you were 13, 14 at the time. But it's like you just said, it was all over television. Like that was always like number one on TRL and stuff like that. And growing up, it's always been like that too, where we've always had access to such like bold, sexually liberated music videos.
And like at the time,
why were we the
target?
The target, I would say. I don't know.
Why does anybody do anything? I don't know why they market sex to kids. But like
Spice Girls singing "To Become One," I'm like, all that, like,
and it's different than when like the Jonas Brothers were doing their like purity ring thing.
Yes,
I'm like, you're still marketing sex to kids, but like
as a topic of conversation or a buying point.
Yeah, I'm like, this is a bargaining chip of some sort,
right? Because then all the Christian moms felt it was okay to take their kids to the Jonas Brothers concert because they made that particular
even
statement.
Though they like in the same breath are marketing them as like on Teen Bop as like sexy and like
right.
I'm like, how are you going to turn them into sexual creatures and then also like keep abstinence or whatever?
Right.
It's
and
weird.
the fact that they still, I mean, it was totally their choice, but they have outwardly said that they were sexually active during the whole campaign of the purity thing too. So I just think it is a business and I get that. I hope that, because I think about like nowadays, I wonder if WAP came out when I was 10 or 12, what that would have been like. Like the closest equivalent I can think of that would be My Neck, My Back, which I remember the first time I heard that song by Kaya and I was just like, this is an actual song? Like, OMG, this lady is saying this? And I feel like that's what WAP was in 2020. But I'm like, I wonder how like the culture would have reacted, or would it have been...
It would have been a shit show. The first time I ever heard My Neck, My Back, I was 21. Wow. I didn't know that it was an old song the first time I heard it.
Wow.
But like the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I will. All you ladies do it.
Pop it. She taught me a lot. I remember I was actually at a science fair the first time I heard it, and a girl had it on her MP3 player. So this is right when like we had portable disc players, and she let me listen to it once. I was like, I was shook because there was no way my parents were going to let me listen to that. But then, luckily enough, Kaya ended up making a radio edit for the song. And then they started playing it all over the radio. And then when I heard that, I was like, something like, this is my thing. I think that they know that sexuality is so human that they know everybody's just so curious when it comes to sexuality. I just hope that they I want to protect the kids' innocence a bit. You know what I mean? I like our methods of discovery were pretty, like you said, organic. I love how I'm a Slave for You exudes like sensual power, but it's not over the top. It's not like, it's very sultry and stuff like that. So if we kept it like that in an introductory stage, I think that's quite natural for someone at 13 or 14 to love.
So, but I think it's crazy because I do remember there being like, the first time I heard I'm a Slave for You, which is like, what the hell? Who gives a damn? I'm like, oh my God, she's cursing. I remember like just like an audible gasp left my body. But now I'm like, there's somebody out there that is 12 years old and Ariana Grande is like their end all be all. And I'm like, how are you listening to 34, 35 in the carpool getting dropped off at like
or
5th grade or positions? And I'm like, it's...
Because that's about sex positions too, y'all. Like, don't try to... I know the song is talking about blah, 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 but that's about sex. So.
All of it is. And then I didn't realize that Love Me Harder is about sex. I was just thinking like, you got to give me more effort than this. Like, see, that's what I mean. Like, I'm willing to play ball. Like, that naivety is like, I'm still willing to like, I'm like, oh no, this is about, she just wants to get like effed hard. And I'm like, okay, but same mood. We're all horny.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the right way to, is there a right way to activate that? Like,
I just got to do what you got to do. And it's like,
if you do it extreme, that's the OnlyFans, that's the pornography where everyone says, oh no, that's not right, sex work, etc. There's stages. And I feel like we should just, as a society, not necessarily label them, but like embrace them, like walk into it. Stop acting like everything is so taboo and that we need to shun it away, because it's a very clear reality that we all love it, and we've been so curious about it since we were teens, watching these crazy... I love Christina Aguilera's Dirty video. I keep bringing that up, but like that was a moment for me to be like, oh wow.
In the shower?
When she was...
I every single time I'm in a shower, I want to do the thing where she does the splits and she like bounces up and... Yep. Every single time.
How do we have the same child in teenhood? Like, how do we know this?
And it's just something about like a body and water just flinging off of it. I'm like, this is cool to me. Like, I wish I could feel like that all the time.
I mean, I guess you can, girl. I think that's what it is. It's an essence. I think that's what music is. That's what pop culture is all about. It's like the statement of the culture and what we're vibing on at the time. Whether it's the music or the essence or whatnot, when we hear these songs and they come up in the club 20 years later, we tap into that groove, and it's just like, it takes me to another dimension. And current artists can't do that for me.
Which is funny, because I think the way that I guess like society in general talks about sexuality and music has shifted. If someone like Mandy Moore or Jessica Simpson were to release a song like 35, 34, back in the day, it would have been like, a what? But now we have, it's a #1 song, it's a #1 video, but like, that's not the only way you can be sexual. That's a cool thing where we're at, where someone like Billie Eilish isn't sexualized. She goes out of her way to make sure that she's not, and she wears like baggy clothes, and that's also embraced. And it's like, people have that, they want to express themselves, they have carnal desires, and it's up to them to figure it out. It's up for them to express it however they want to express it, if they even want to express it. And I think it's cool that we're at a place where women aren't put into boxes like that, where you have to be loud about it or in your face.
Right, in order to make the statement.
Exactly.
Right. Or even because we definitely have to bring up the whole Janet and Justin Timberlake thing, like being the target of sexual like repercussions or whatever. I feel like that has always been associated with the women in the industry, and it's never a man's fault. And if you look at like rap music videos or R&B male artists, pretty much all male artists, they are allowed to get away with a lot more things when it comes to either lyrics or what they do in their videos and stuff like that. But if the women try to do it, it was always like...
I'm like, why is WAP such a big controversy?
Right. But that's why I was like, for instance, do you like Kali Uchis? Is that how you say her name?
I know the name.
Okay, well, she has on one of her album covers, she is getting eaten out by another lady. It's a cartoon, but I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. You're going to do whatever you want to do, and if this is what was happening at the time that made you write that song, put that shit out, and then people embrace it or they don't like it. But I love the fact that, like, she was able to express it that way.
One of Tove Lo's albums, her stylistic choice was that she made the O's in her name look like a vagina. And then her album cover is literally a butt with like the vagina enhanced, and it's like behind a pair of panties, but like that's that's a vagina.
Right.
You know?
I like that.
Whereas, you know, I remember there being a controversy about the fact that there was like a naked baby on the Nirvana album cover.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, but now we literally have asses and vaginas. And it's like, okay, this is normal.
Right. Because that was the thing. People were trying to make me feel like we were like desensitized to sexual value, I guess. Like we're not pure anymore because like we know these things and stuff like that. And I'm like, that is not the truth. Because if that was the case, then we wouldn't be having like all these religious scandals and stuff like that of people trying to do certain things or whatnot, because they wouldn't be so curious to go to the extreme to do all of these crazy things. Or even like, I wish I remember his name, but did you hear about that reggaeton artist that just killed himself? He jumped off the balcony because he was having bisexual relations, and he didn't want his wife to know. People shouldn't have to like be in that. Let people live. You shouldn't
have to jump off a cliff to hide your sexuality.
Right, to hide from that. Like there's so many people nowadays that like get what that is. Like I would love to have a bisexual reggaeton artist out there rapping songs about, hey, I was with this lovely lady and then I went over to this handsome dude, and what a story that would be. Have we ever had that on a song or a radio? What artist has like outwardly like done a song like that? That's where I'm excited about like the musical journey in the future, because now that people, once they do become more comfortable with their sexuality, especially the queer community, we will have like more Lil Nas X moments
I'm
where
so
it's
excited.
like
I just want
saying crazy stuff like shoot a shot in your mouth while I'm writing. I never thought I would hear that ever on like a pop culture like mainstream song, the number one song on Spotify at that. So, and I love it. I'm like, yes. More.
That's all I want.
Yeah. And if you don't want to listen to that, there are plenty of artists that keep everything very calm, cool, and collected, and traditional or whatnot. But I feel like if you're going to talk about the sex and all that kind of stuff too, I think the people are owning their sexuality and they feel liberated. I don't think that they're trying to force anything. They're just singing about the stuff that everybody likes and does. And they shouldn't feel guilty about it.
It's a liberation thing for sure, and that's where I've come to terms with it. Whereas before it was like, oh, there's still like a tinge of dirtiness to it. I'm like, no, like we're all
right. Everybody does it. That's the one thing I figured out. Everybody thinks about it. Everybody does it. They might put on that facade like, oh, I'm a church girl. Or I'm
like, yeah, but you got kids. You're free.
Yeah.
You have 3 kids, which means I know that you've had unprotected sex at least 3 times.
And you had fun doing it. And there was nothing wrong with that. Like, I wish once we get to that place in society where
there's no shame about what we do. It's like, I'm not going to shame you. I've said it before. Like, it's no different than like the need to eat or the need to sleep or the need to exercise or the need to socialize or the need to go and feel the sun or be outside. It's something so innate, and I can't believe we've ever allowed it to be stigmatized.
Right. Well, you know who's doing a good job about destigmatizing it? Shout out to the Gen Zs. I feel like I'm always talking about them in every single episode.
Love them.
I do, because I love people that are just forward and like say what they say and like just do it. Like they're not thinking about it too hard.
They're like, the planet's gonna die in 10 years. Right. I don't have time to be fake.
Exactly. Or I like who I like and I'm gonna figure it out and we're gonna date. We're gonna go to prom. We're gonna do this. It's like all of those things that we used to be like gasping about or just like wishing and wanting, or some people still are doing that now. Like it took me forever to be able to finally express Eden, even though Eden has been within me my whole entire life. So I love to see Gen Z being like, fuck that. If I, like you said, if I want to wear this wig or I want to wear these high-waisted pants or whatever to the grocery store, I'm going to do that.
What the fuck is going to stop me? What's the worst that's going to happen? Someone's going to give me a dirty look. Well, that says more about you. Like, what's wrong with my hair? Is it not a pretty color? Does this cut not suit my face? Are the layers not defined enough for you? Are the highlights too chunky? Please tell me what it is about the wig that you do not like. It's long and feminine. Well, what about long feminine hair upsets you?
Let's have the conversation. Right.
Let's get to the root of it. Because when we get to the root of it, you're going to find out how fucked up you are and how wrong you are.
They're the generation taking that chance. And I always thought that we were always taught that we have to like respect our elders, or our elders were going to be the ones that are going to be like teaching us.
And that they can't do any wrong.
Right. Where I'm starting to see now that it's sometimes the youth, or it could be anybody, but it's not always what they told us it was going to be. You can find inspiration from so many different things to really channel a new reality for yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's all about like what sticks with you. And personally for me, I just think they're doing a phenomenal job with exploring their sexuality, with understanding that there are like multiple genders, understanding pronouns, and using them like their second nature. Like there's like 5 and 6 year old kids that understand they more than 50-year-old people that are like running in political office and stuff like that. It's like, this is ridiculous, and I can't wait for them to all grow up and be reading all y'all and cussing y'all out because I'm too nice to do so.
One of my fears that I have is like how we look at old people, I don't say old people, but like, you know, you're talking about the 50-year-olds that don't know how to use they, them, me becoming that. For whatever, like me being that
stuff.
old person for the Gen Zs.
There's a line.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, but like that's what my worry is, that like I want to be able to make sure that like as I'm growing and getting older, that like I keep an open mind to the fact that the world as it is right now in this moment is not going to be the world, and it's okay that change happens. It's not what is important for the future. I'm not going to be here forever.
Right.
You know,
right?
Why does it matter that like I get it my way for the entirety when I'm gonna die? We got to make the place better for the next people. You know,
right? Well, as Janelle Monáe says, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, I will love who I am. And I encourage everybody to love themselves, love their sexuality, go explore, go have fun, and listen to some of these dirty bops that we're about to throw on that ass.
Speaking of ass, this is a song about bottoming. Yeah.
You heard Eden peek up.
Yeah. You heard the chair squeak. A teenhood.
Yeah.
My dirty bop of the week is Bloom by Troye Sivan. It's just about getting good dick in the ass. Like, it's about bottoming and enjoying it. And, you know, it's funny. We talked about in one of our previous episodes about how being the bottom is perceived as being like a negative thing because it's perceived as being the more feminine. There's something wrong with being effeminate, right. But it's like, you know, it's good. It feels good. Like, right. Yeah, let's.
And if you don't like it, you don't have to.
You don't have to do it.
But guess what? There are lots of people that really love to bottom, and guess what? They don't look like all the little imaginary people in your head that you think all bottoms look like.
All look like the brawny man.
Right. I just say Eden
Mr.
has had some
Clean,
situations
the
where
brawny man,
6'5", 220 pounds, was ready to take the D. So it's like, you never know, and it's none of your business anyway. If people like to do what they like to do, let them enjoy getting pounded. And so, Mike.
And this is a song that celebrates it.
I love that. That side said it all, y'all. So you already know it's what's good.
It is what's good.
I guess Mikey has a fever. I pick a Fever by Dua Lipa. This song is literally a bop, and I guess Mikey loves dance music. If I were to go to a dance club and I heard this song, I literally would go crazy. This is the type of like vibe that it has a little syncopated beat, which I like because you want to pop it real cute, but it has like that housey,
like smoky,
whoo, girl, so
atmosphere.
Right, it's the vibe, the atmosphere you're walking into it. So go check it out. The music video is also really cool too because they do like, it's like a one take almost kind of vibe, but they're also doing like a little bit of acting. You get to see a little bit more of Dua Lipa's personality, and I feel like she also has a cool sexuality that she's exuding with her brand, where, you know, she gives us legs, she gives us a little bit of body. She has a song
about being good in bed. Ooh,
but she's not, you know,
it's toxic, but it's good.
it's different forms of sexuality, like we were talking about earlier. And I like that. So go check out the song. You're going to love it. And yeah, we're giving y'all all the good tunes and the good vibes. And a good conversation. Mikey, in closing, what are you wanting the pop boys and the pop girls to give us in the closing months of 2021 and next year in 2022?
I just hope that we continue. If somebody has a song, they just release it, or a video. Like, we don't have to wait for an album. Like, Cardi B is coming out with a song every 4 months. Yeah. Lil Nas X is coming out with a song every 4 months. I hope that we can find like a rhythm, like drop, 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 and we keep up the theatrics. And I'm surprised at how fast people are able to churn out high quality, high production value music videos in such like, you'll see them posting on Instagram, and then 2 weeks later, like the final thing is, I'm like, what? How did you edit that? Correct the color, correct the sound, get it approved, go through all of these
Get
things.
it submitted to Vivo and like all the
all
channels.
that stuff. Make sure that all the merch is ready to go
Yeah.
for when it drops. So like, I hope that we continue that. Just continue being horny and celebrate it.
That's what I was going to say. On these concerts, I want to see... I remember Janet Jackson used to be tying people to beds and making them spin upside down and whipping them and stuff. Y'all need to give me sex on tour. I am a very horny gal, and I want to see it on stage. If I'm not getting it in my life, I want to see y'all having
someone
fun.
else get it.
Yeah, so y'all better be bringing these people up from the audience and giving us a show. So... everyone, and I'm all kind of artists, the Foo Fighters, I don't care what you do.
Jackie Danchko, Charlotte Church, Beethoven.
What's my girl? Susan Boyle.
She
my girl.
She puts the boy in boil,
OMG, y'all. Well, with that being said, this is Eden.
This is Mikey. Remember to keep your mind clean.
And keep your talk dirty.
We'll see you next week.
Holla.